For tonight's episode, I'd like to remind the viewers that both myself and the guest are not certified counselors and that the following conversation should not be considered as treatment. Tonight, we'll be talking about personal struggles, hardships, and how to deal with the stigma that comes with it. Joining me to share her story is Una, and her real name's Donna, but she prefers to be called Una. And she's saving etymology for another story. She's been a BPO slave since whenever, a daughter, a friend, proud for a mom to nine dogs but plays favorites to Piglet and Petita, an aspiring NLP coach, and with a quote to share, chosen not forsaken. Hello, Una!
Hi! Hello, Ati! Kamusta
Hello!
ni
Thank you. Alam ko busy ka sa bagong work.
sa dalawang work? Oh, di ba?
Dalawang work mo?
Yes, I do freelance tapos sa BPO.
Talaga?
Para wala oo, kasi I left my previous company. Diyos ko, kasagsagan ng pandemic. That was yung 2020, March. That's my
Mm-mm.
end of day with my previous company. And then I got into freelance. Alam mo na yung mga online jobs lang na email support, tech
Ah,
support,
ah,
yung mga
ah.
ganyan. So I got into it. And then I stumbled upon this hindi siya social media, pero more of parang e-com influencer
Mm-mm.
sa Southeast Asia or particularly sa India. Tapos yun na, parang sobrang balancing act between me getting hired sa BPO tapos sa kanya. Kaya ayokong pakawalan, sayang sayang ang kita, sayang ang
Oo.
pera.
Weekends to.
Yun. Hindi. My current shift sa BPO is 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then, etong supposedly freelance, it's a full-time gig kasi it's 12:30 to 8:30. 12:30
12:30.
p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Grabe! Totoo
Diba?
ba?
Yes!
Ako yung
So,
freelance job ko lang Mondays, 7 days a week ako. Pero pag weekends, 4 hours a day lang. Pero pag Mondays to Fridays, 8 hours. Grabe, kaya mo yun? Wala ka tulog?
although, hindi, kasi since it's freelance, nung nag-start ako, I am not in the BPO, so, carry, kumbaga parang sa
Mm,
akin, nasanay ako nung nandun na yung BPO. So,
mm,
kaya kong nakawan ng tulog. Alam mo yun, yung mga oras na hindi ko na kaya, itutulog ko na to, iidlip ko na to, yung mga
oo,
ganon.
oo.
So, minsan, pag medyo lax yung oras sa BPO, nakasingit yung freelance ko. So, kaya dalawa talaga yung laptop na ginagamit ko. So, parang, kasi dahil social media management lang naman to, approve ng request, deny ng request, hide ng post, yung mga ganon. So,
Mm,
manageable. And then, so pag time ko na, I'll just log in. Kasi, ang cool din ng boss eh. So, I'll just log in, that's my timestamp. Tapos wala na, parang, sige, check ng mga emails, request ng mga emails. Pag medyo, alam mo yung pag naubos ko na, and I was able to manage kahit pa paano, pahinga na ako. So, yung 8 hours na yon nakain niya na ng prior dun sa nag-shift ako ng BPO
oo.
na konti yung trabaho. So, pagdating dun sa kanya, dun ko na ipapahinga na parang pagdating ng 3 p.m., andiyan na yung 2 hours, 3 hours na tulog. So, I think it's only on a Sunday na straight 8 hours yung tulog ko. Regular, kasi this is Mondays to Saturday, the supposedly freelance. 2 hours. So, I end my shift at around 7 sa BPO. 8:30, yan, matutulog ako. Kung makakatulog ako. And then,
Mm.
I'll wake up at around 11:30 because I have to feed the dogs then. Tapos, around 3 o'clock, tutulog na naman ako, 5, 6, gigising, to prep naman para sa panggabi. Tapos yun na, tapos diretso na. As in, it's a balancing act, which at a certain point, I almost lost yung freelance. Kasi, wala talaga, sobrang hirap, hindi ko kaya. As
Mm.
in, wala na akong buhay, yung ganun. Tapos, wala na. Tapos parang nasanay ka na lang na nasakyan mo na lang. Tapos you've been doing it for like the longest time. Tapos, dead man na.
Kasi wala ka din naman
Yun.
magawa eh. Sa bahay ka
Sayang,
lang din eh. Oo.
oo. Hindi, tsaka sobrang sayang yung kita. Parang, with the task that I have, mababa yung bayad sa akin ha. I'm paid like, magkano ba? $400 for for an 6 days 8 hour shift. So
Oo,
ang liit niya,
medyo
'di ba?
oo,
Kumpara sa
oo.
lahat ng nag-freelance. Oh, yun. Pero it helps. Kumbaga parang sa akin, ayun na yung mga paggastos ko sa mga aso ko, mga
Oo,
expenses, yung gano'n. So
puwede,
kaya
puwede.
parang sa akin, dead man na. Parang go, push na yan.
Okey,
Yun.
sige. So let's start with the topic for tonight. It's really
Sure.
interesting to huh? Sorry, you were saying something.
Wait, you kind of break a little.
Ah, talaga? Ano?
No, no, no. I was waiting for you. I think, oh, for the internet connection, I think it's fluctuating. Oh,
Ah,
well.
talaga ba? Ah, sige, sige. Check patayin ko na nga ibang browsers ko dito baka yun. Pero ngayon okey na.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is, it is.
Ayan. Ah, sige. Sige, it's really interesting to talk about this because not everyone is open to share their failures. So what made you lean towards this topic?
Um, kasi when you approached me, I wasn't expecting it. Seriously, I wasn't expecting na you'd ask me, can you want to talk about something? It was something so good and all that. Tapos naisip ko talaga na, the heck? What the hell am I gonna share with this person? I don't have any specific expertise. I have nothing really to brag about. And I was telling you, ano pag-uusapan natin? And you know, that's our ongoing conversation na, hala, ano pagkukwentuhan natin? I have nothing at all. And I think the interview where I failed, it pops in. Na parang, um, this was last year because I was applying. Ito na yung nag-a-apply na ako sa mga BPO. Um, I think second week of April, I started applying in multiple BPOs. Kasi alam ko na nga na well, I have the feeling the pandemic's gonna continue. So I need something sustainable na. Wala talaga. Parang for someone who was doing so great when it comes to interviews, when it comes to getting hired and all that, back to back to back to back to back failure. Back to back na I cannot pass it. I couldn't even ace a single exam. Initial pa lang, ligwak na ako every single time. And one thing that I remember the most when you know when I shared with you the topic that I want to talk about was when an interviewer had asked me, what have I learned so far? What specific skills was I able to gain, the entire pandemic season? I was not able to give anything at all. Um, I was not able to articulate myself na I wasn't, I, I, I think I was even bragging, telling the person na I think I've learned whatever it is that I have learned. And right now with the entire pandemic, I was just taking it easy and all that. Only to realize na why why are we being forced to learn something? Why are we I kept asking myself, why are we being forced to succeed at something, to be able to gain something, to have an expertise on something? Why can't I just be me? And why can't I just have these things, these experiences that I have and be okay with it? And then I come to realize na oo nga, wala nga akong expertise, hindi nga ako magaling sa isang bagay. And so, for me, I want to talk about it. Let's talk about why I'm not so good at so many things and yet I'm still existing. That I'm still here. I'm still handling people. I still have like what 15 people currently under my team and from my previous team that's still within the same chat room that I have who looked up to me. And for me, let's talk about why I'm so bad at so many things and yet I still want to try. That's what I want to tell people na, that's what I think it's self-serving if I may say so na gawin naman nating therapy to para sa akin kasi ang dami kong gustong mangyari pero wala akong na-achieve. And yet, okay na hindi okay. And, wag sana ako bumigay. Okay na hindi ako okay. Okay na I fail at so many things. Okay na I succeed at certain things. Okay that I still keep dreaming of so many things that I wanted to achieve. And I want to push forward to those things that I wanted to achieve. And if people wanna tell me, because as far as I know, I've had, subordinates before who are in a higher position. I have batchmates who are VIP levels, and yet eto lang ako. Financially, I still struggle. That's what we've talked about earlier, di ba? I have two jobs that I try and manage. And yet I'm fine. I get to sleep. Like, mamaya, alam ko, mag-enjoy akong matulog. I get to spend some time with my dogs. And I think I want to look into that it's fine to admit that I am not where I am. I am not where I wanted to be, but I just want to take that step forward every single day. And mind you, it's a struggle. Um, just really saying it right now, it is a struggle, and I'm fine with it. Don't get me wrong, or for anyone who's listening, I'm not saying we get into that mindset that, oh, it's okay to fail and stuff like that. No, I'm not glorifying failure, but I wanna zone in that thought that we have to stop denying ourselves of whatever it is that we feel just because we wanted to accommodate of whatever it is that the outside world is dictating for us to achieve. I I think that's I when I presented to you my idea, parang long rant na yung nangyari nun. So I think that's the reason behind it. That's the purpose behind it for in one way or another.
So help us understand. I mean, for the viewers who don't know your backstory. Kasi
Sure.
personally ako, ang pagkakakilala ko sa'yo is you excel at pretty much everything.
Thank you.
Sa HGS pa lang, kasi you've been a trainer and then you move on to operations and you pretty much have experience on different designations. So what made, aside from the feedback and also what happened with the back-to-back interviews, what made you feel that you're not good at something?
Um yeah, just like that, what you mentioned. I've been a trainer. I was even part of a sa recruitment. Kumbaga, I've always been the go-to person who makes decision if the person we're gonna hire is good to go or someone we can just let go. I've been trusted with my gut because of that. I've developed people. I feel like a failure because eto na eh, ang dami nang lumagpas. I think the people who I've mentored, they followed whatever it is, the steps that I've had. I think I was everybody's, paano ba? Ako yung error in an experiment. I was the error, and everybody was able to correct it. And so people who supposed to follow my lead is now going way ahead of me, and I feel like I'm just being left behind. All these things that I'm saying, although of course social media can hide a lot of things, but more than just the social media, things that you found out about certain people that you've never thought would be able to achieve certain things are now achieving them. Things that hindi ko sa inusgahan, but more of, buti pa siya. Yung mindset na yon. Oh, they have their own house. They have multiple number of cars. I know it's so um physical, but there are also instances wherein they're happy with their certain relationships. They're happy with the circle of people that they've been with, and I feel like I'm. Eto lang ako. I have you. I have Ruben. I have Anne. I have those kind of people, but I don't get to spend that much time with them, and I feel like I'm failing at that. That I'm not meeting that expectations as well. I wanna be able to provide for my family. Yung tipong sagat sa sarap na buhay, yung mga ganun. And yet I'm not able to do that. And yet certain people are able to do that. It sucks to compare myself to these things, but I feel like the reason I'm not able to achieve my momentum is simply because I'm too contented and I'm too comfortable where I'm at. And while it's a good place to be, it's not where I should be. Um, I never found my expertise. I never found whatever it is that I wanna improve on. Parang, ito na nga lang, latter part na lang ng buhay ko na, okay, I wanted to achieve something. I wanted to be able to gear towards it. And I feel like I'm running way behind everybody else's. And while everybody else's was out there trying to achieve their medals and all that, or, well, actually, while everybody else already had their medals, I'm still out there running my race, and nowhere in sight do I feel I'm near it. And okay, hindi ko sinasabing okay lang. I think that's what kept me going is because, sige, let's do it. Let's keep doing it. I appreciate that you see me as someone who was able to achieve something. I think that's the thing. People see me that. Someone so strong, someone so contented, someone so composed of everything that I am. And me suggesting this topic to you was opening it up to everybody else's that, yeah, yeah, this is the strong Una that everybody knows. And this is the strong Una that everybody was looking up to. And no, I haven't slashed my wrist. No, I have no plans of hanging myself. And yes, I'm still after telling people I can be something, I can be someone, and that I was able to achieve certain things that I thought were just dreams. So, I think that's the reason behind it. Na napapag-iwanan lang ako. I'm at my Fab 40. I turned 40 last month, and if people say na life begins at 40, god damn it, life begins when you want it to begin and when you want it to end. And right now I just want to begin it every single day that I wake up. And I can have a laundry list of all the things I failed at, but I can also give you a whole long list of the things that I still wanted to achieve, that I still wanted to be able to overcome, and just really be this time be contented, and really say to myself, I'm happy.
So it's a combination of you seeing those people who were that you've supported and have gotten far in their careers. And also, second is you can do better. And
Yeah.
yet, so parang dalawang factors yung kung bakit nagkakaroon ng ganong feeling sa'yo or in the internal struggle. Um, but since we wanted to talk about the stigma out of it, being associated with the circumstances, aside from the internal or personal struggle, do, do you get that from the society, from the people around you, friends?
With the personality that I have, um, I don't think people can blatantly like tell it to my face that they're better than me, which is a good thing. Although in a subtle way, they get to prove it to my face that they're better than me and all that. And people just assume it's okay to make pahaging na they're better than me, knowing na parang I I think society wise kasi is because I have this strong persona that it's okay to attack me. That the goal was to like put me down. So parang sa akin, I was constantly trying to prove to myself so that I can prove other people that it's not them being better than me, but it's just me being contented with whatever it is that I was able to achieve. So I think that's the reason why yung pag-freelance ko, isang malaking bagay is because tahimik lang ako. That I'm not surrounded with people or whatsoever. So, may mga instances that the demons that I'm fighting with can be so overwhelming kasi may internal struggle na nga ako, may maririnig pa ako, may makikita pa ako, so saan ako lulugar? And that's the reason why, as much as possible, I try to stay away from everybody else's as much as I can, just so para lang mapakalma ko yung sarili ko. And so, para masimulan ko ulit kung saan ako dapat magsimula. And then, so I continue. Laging ganon. Laging may lapses. But never was an instance that I've ever said I want to stop. Yun yung sa akin. So, social media is really, really bad. It's for the thick skin, that I can guarantee.
I agree.
Right? Truth be told, I currently hold two accounts of social media. One that's completely hidden from everybody else's, like few select friends who see me as I am, and one that I would say completely professional because it's been highlighted that it can be too negative. See, those things that I hear about me, and that's what I always tend to question. Kasi it's like, why do we always classify someone who just wanna fight through it as someone so negative? Hindi ba pwedeng magsalita lang? So siguro yun yung naguguluhan ako most of the time. Yun yung hindi ko nagigets most of the time. Um, at yun yung nagpapahirap. And that's, I think, in one way or another, would sort of highlight the failures the most. Kasi hindi nila direktang pinamumukha na you're failing, but them being able to achieve something and you not being assisted in achieving the same thing, that's make it worse. I think that's making it worse. And ako na lang mag-internal monologue na kakayanin ko, kagagawin ko, yung ganong eksena. So, labo-labo, as in literal na labo-labo. Kaya sabi ko therapeutic, it's self-serving tong conversation natin. Probably because I trust you as well. And I'm putting it out there. And if any of my previous agents is able to see this, I think there would be some people who would say it's my karma that I know it. I know and I feel it in me na that's the feedback that I'm gonna get because I have such a strong personality and being able to tell people that yeah, I'm tired is probably something what most people would want to hear.
And I think because the reason why we can also connect is because we also share the same passion. And in hindsight, I just like to also share na hindi ko pa rin nasasagot yung point na bakit ang perception for someone who is vocal is negative. I even got myself, well, they didn't kick me out. I walked out. Pero they made me feel that I'm no longer wanted just because I'm speaking out of, speaking the truth. Tapos,
Mm-hmm.
because of our personality nga, no one would attempt to engage in a conversation. Tayo naman, feeling ko naman open naman tayong paliwanagan eh. If we're wrong, then
Yes.
tell us that we're wrong. Diba? Yun lang naman ang ano namin. Let's have a adult conversation. Present me with facts. Because I know I can defend myself with facts. Gusto mo, i-graph ko pa yan. Pero yung, di ba, yung, di ba, imagine, yung nangyari sa akin, corruption na within office, yung mga nakaw-nakaw ng funds,
Oh
dinoise
my
out ko
God.
na yun, dinoise out ko na yun sa HR. So, parang ang ending, ako pa yung mali. So, so sabi ko, so nag-walk out na lang ako. So, to answer to add on to what you said, hanggang ngayon, hindi pa natin masasagot bakit ang perception ng tao for someone who is vocal is negative. It's really
Is very
difficult.
negative. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
and I don't get the point na if someone would express being sad, wanted to be left alone, was them not being helpful with whatever is that's going on with what we have right now. Alam mo yung I hate bringing it up. Toxic positivity. Hindi ba pwedeng helpful amount of the positive stuff and just being realistic of whatever is going on? Um, alam ko naman sa sarili ko, I'm not the only one who feels like who feels like a failure. I'm not the only one. It's just that no one had ever expected. I really think no one would ever expect that I can voice it out. And actually, this is the first time that I'm I'm verbalizing it. that, yeah, I failed at so many things. Dun sa, babalikan ko lang because I know the company you're with, and with the same company that I was with, na pinanggalingan natin, I had an opportunity to also become a manager. I was offered, at a certain point, I was offered to become an SM. Um, but it would also mean that a friend would be kicked out of the company because of me. Uh, I was told that I was able to establish very good ties with the client, and the trust that they had was with me and not with my reporting manager. So I have been offered a position. I turned it down. Nag-render ako ng resignation. Um, and I think I talked to HR about it. I stayed about a year before eventually pushing through with the resignation. So I could have been a manager right now. I really wish I'm a manager right now. But if it means I'd have to step on some people just to get to where I'm at or where I'll be, hindi ko kaya. Um, Sige,
Talaga?
bagsak na lang ako.
Do
Yeah,
you think
I did.
do you think that is stepping on a person? Hindi naman ikaw yung nag-recommend eh.
It's, oo, hindi, alam mo yan din yung sinabi ng mga manager friends ko. Sabi nilang ganon, hindi naman ikaw yung nanghingi nun. It's just that you were able to establish your presence. They see your presence and they want that presence. And but for me, is there a better way of getting to that position without me having to elbow out someone and being the reason for that someone to not have a job? Baka naman pwedeng dalawa kami. Yung ganun na yung mindset ko. And I just can't. I think the way it was presented to me was something that I can't handle. Um, as far as I can remember, my team back then even realizes that something wrong was going on because all three of us was out of the office on that day. I had the conversation the morning after my shift. That night, I did not report for work. My one up and then my one up also did not report for work. So all three of us were out of the office on that day, and my team is aware that that's what's going on. The only person I ever talked about it was Ruben, and then the person involved. Afterwards na. Tapos wala na, iyak na lang ako ng iyak. Kasi salamat for recognizing my hard work. Pero hindi ko kaya eh. Hindi ko talaga kaya. As in, hindi ko talaga kaya. Um, I could have gone far by now had I taken advantage of that offer. But I don't think I'd be able to face the person again. Um, Baka hindi niya masabing namimiss niya ako. She would probably forgive me, but I don't think I can forgive myself for it. So, parang, yeah, ayoko talaga. I mean, teach me something na lang. Yun siguro. I'm not being very righteous about it. Mind you, hindi ako nagpapaka-righteous with the entire situation. It's just that the could have been, the should have been, has always been lingering, and memory is such a blessing and a curse at the same time. And 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 memory is something that I have na, alam mo yun, yung hindi ko makalimutan talaga. Lagi kong bitbit. And sometimes you would just want these people to reach out to you and tell you na they're thankful for the choices that you made. Wala eh. So, Dedma, okay lang kung ganun yung nangyari. So, sa'kin tuloy na lang ulit.
So if you're presented with that same situation, would you go to that same route?
I would probably. Well, no. Let me scrap that. I would. I'm not even gonna think twice of as to whether I shouldn't or I should have. I would still make the same choice of declining whatever is being offered to me. Um, especially if it's someone whom I respect na mapapalitan ko, hindi ko magagawa. As in, sobrang hindi ko magagawa siguro. I-raise ko yung issue dun sa tao. And if whoever is offering the position to me, tayo tatlo, sabay-sabay tayo. Kumbaga parang, oh, if you're being vocal to me about whatever it is that you're offering, oh, say it to my face as well, while that person that's involved is in there. If that's the case, then probably dun na yung mababago yung sitwasyon. But if it's done behind someone else's back, na I can. I would still take, I would still do what I've done before.
So and this is just me asking, no?
Yeah,
Isn't that, hindi ba siya para magiging vicious cycle for you?
Very good point. It is. For some apparent reason, it is. It's not just once or twice that I've taken a back seat just so I can accommodate people. Hindi ko naman sinabing napaka-masochista ko or anything for that matter. It's just that for me, something far greater is meant for me, that if this were the scenarios that's happening, if this were the situations that's happening, then probably it's not. What do I say? Like, very destiny type yung dating. Hindi. Parang sa akin kasi, if something was really meant for me, there won't be any hindrances, any doubts. It's just going to happen. Pero kung may lingering doubts sa isip ko na baka may ganito, baka may ganyan, then probably it's not worth it. Whatever it is that probably I decide on, if it meant losing sleep over it, I don't think it's gonna be worth it. Ang sa akin, if I get to sleep at night and I can sleep peacefully and be able to wake up the next day, then probably, yeah, it's fine. Even though it may mean that I'd have to struggle again and again and again. I think, I don't know what kind of component I have in me, but I just totally believe that everything will fall into its place at the right time, at the right place. I'm I'm feeling so impatient about it, but it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. These are good things, and I know far greater things is meant to happen. So, yun na lang. Yun yung internal monologue ko every single time. Like yung mga back-to-back na hindi ko pagkapasa sa interviews, kasi baka yung pala mag-on-site kami, and I don't wanna go on-site anymore. And what I have right now is that I have the freedom of whether I wanna report for work or I can stay at home. So anytime, if I wanna pop up at the office, it's there. So I feel like that's what it is. Na kung walang hindrance ang isang bagay and I don't feel iffy about something, then that's the best decision. Well, no, that's the best decision that I should be taking. Kaya yun. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. That I can guarantee you. Kasi minsan, baka pa victim na lang ako sa sarili ko dahil nasanay ako na nasasaktan or nahihirapan, yung ganun. But as much as possible, I think I wanna take it in stride na me being just very open to the possibilities na kaya pa, kaya pa, kaya pa. Yun.
I admire you for that. Siguro lang tayo nagkaiba because for me, if that happened with me, na nag-step back ako just because for someone else, and now, and if I'll be presented with the same situation, siguro, and then that made me feel what you're feeling right now, siguro mag-iiba yung mag-iiba yung pananaw ko. Kasi parang jaded ka na sa situation eh. If you're not, if it's not being reciprocated, kahit man lang hindi that person eh, na pinagbigyan mo, even the universe, hindi man na reciprocate na, ay, binigay ko sa'yo, di ba? So, bakit ganun?
Alam mo, yeah, that's one thing that I've been trying to learn. Yan yung hanggang ngayon, ang tagal ko matuto, nakakainis. Pero those are the things. I think one thing that I've learned throughout time was to look at people who was able to do it, and at a certain pace in my life would apply it. And probably magiging gano'n, babalik ako sa gano'ng punto. Babalik ako sa gano'ng sitwasyon na maybe I can eventually stand up this time and be able to reconcile both making that kind of decision and still keeping the relationship that I would wanna keep. Um, right now kasi hindi ko siya mapag-reconcile. And, naiinggit ako sa'yo sa gano'ng konsepto, sa gano'ng mindset. And I hope I get to that I will be able to get to that point. And not only am I hoping to get to that point, I'm working on it. I attend seminar. Oh my God, I'm such a seminarian pagdating sa ganyang bagay. I attend seminars on constantly improving myself. Para lang, pag nandun na ako sa sitwasyon na yon, I'm prepared, I'm more knowledgeable, and probably this time, it is really going to be for me. And not just because, I had to kick somebody else's, and just for me to be in position.
So you mentioned earlier, and I'm trying to understand,
Mm-hmm.
having that kind of personality and that mindset. Why would you think that people that you've been with would see this experience as your karma? Parang ako, kung ako yung kung kilala kita na ganyan, tapos nangyari sa yan, or kung nagkaroon na tayo ng falling apart, I would know that
Oo.
I think you're just trying to help me, the reason why you're this and that. Pero why would you think that people would think that way?
Because I'm such a straight arrow. When I do my job, when I do whatever responsibility that's been given to me, I'm such a straight arrow. Sa'yo, you've been very vocal about corruption and stuff like that. For me, it's the same thing. If you're doing half of whatever is the job that's expected of you, that's not gonna fly with me. You'll hear it from me. I'm not gonna filter what I'm going to say. And I've strained relationships because of it. Kasi kina-question ko. And probably in one way or another, I've bruised egos because of it. Hindi kasi talaga ako eh. I'm not gonna hold back in saying whatever is wrong. And eto, if people would see na I'm admitting to something that I've been failing at, they would say na ayan kasi nagpapakadiretso ako sa mga bagay-bagay when it could have been done at an easier way. It's just that for me, I can't. So, yun yung magiging karma ko is because yan kasi alam mo yun yung tinatawag na ni na Fernando Po Jr. na, Diyos ko, alam pa ba ng mga kabataan? Alam pa ba ng mga kabataan kung sino yun? Pero, alam mo yung sinasabi nila na hindi ka bubuhayin ng integridad mo. So, for me, probably not, but at least I can look myself in the mirror and tell myself I did well or I did
Yeah.
fine. It's just that nakakainis lang kasi parang yung mga who wishes bad things to me are the ones that keep getting the good stuff, and sometimes that's the cloud that's looming over my head that I can't shake off most of the time, that sometimes they win. And so for me, iligo natin, magpakalunod tayo sa trabaho, uh, magpakapuya tayo sa pagtatrabaho, and then eventually, alam mo yun, motion follows emotion na eksena until it's gone. Ikanta natin, i-monologue natin yan and stuff until it's gone. Until all those crazy thoughts are gone. Ganong level, ganong eksena, ganong pagtatrabaho.
Correct. And I think I can tie that to, it's a Broadway song from Wicked. It's called No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. Parang the more
Oh,
you
I
try,
don't know that.
listen to it, it's nice. Pero it's like
I
you're
am
saying
gonna.
na, the more you do good things, the more people would see it in a bad way. So yun yung ano point ng song na yun. And ako, I always cling on to that song na ganun eh. Parang sa kwento ng Wicked kasi, 'di ba? Yung Wicked, yung si Wicked Witch, she was perceived as wicked, pero in her head, she's just doing what's best for everyone. Pero na-perceive siya ng tao as wicked. Pero si Good Witch, siya naman, she turned a blind eye. Pero perceived siya as good.
Ay,
Pero
ayan. Ay,
ganun.
oh my God, I love that. It's it's a good thing you're not in. Well, this is social media, but you left one of the most toxic platform there is. Um, that you're out of it, because I think that's the reason why people were so into mental health and stuff like that is because alam mo yun, yung ang daming fasad eh. Ang daming nagsasabi na ang daming taong nahihirapan is because, you know, they get bombarded with these images, with these thoughts na life's good, we're fine, we can do this, we're able to achieve this. Despite the pandemic, this is what we're getting, this is what's happening, da 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 da, and all those kind of stuff. And then whoever was speaking the truth with whatever is going on, with what we have right now, or whatever it is that we're experiencing right now, na ang hirap maghanap ng trabaho, ang hirap ng ganito, ang hirap ng ganito, nakakainis sa ganito, nakakainis sa ganyan, is being shunned. Parang, why? Why is it like that? Why can't we normalize being sad? Acknowledging that we're sad? I'm not saying na pag nalungkot ka, iiyak ka na dyan, tapos wala ka na gagawin. Hindi. It's more of, I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm mad at what everybody else is doing. I don't want people to, I don't want to see people. I don't want to interact with people. But it doesn't mean that's how I should be defined or anybody else's, for that matter, to be defined. So, yeah, yan, yung sinabi mo na I know the play, except that I don't know the song. Sinulat ko na. Na we see good because it's pretty, it's in a nice package, because it's worded perfectly. It's what we expected. Well, it's what we want to hear. So it's already good. However, when something far greater, and I'm not saying I'm far greater about any scenario, but when we speak the truth about, and when we acknowledge whatever it is that we feel, it's regarded as pabigat, dagdag sa kung anumang nangyayari sa atin sa ngayon. Parang, why should it be like that? Why can't we normalize acknowledging people for who they are, for what they are, and letting people be people and not defining them for who they are? Di ba? With whatever their emotions are. And yun kasi yung missing ingredient eh. And that's the reason why, eto, babalik ulit ako dun sa reason ko na I wanna talk about my failures is because I wanna go out there and tell people it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And it's not the end. Siguro ngayon, oh, you're a failure. Pero bukas ba ganun pa? Hindi na, di ba? The moment that, and I think, with whatever it is that I failed at, it made me appreciate whatever it is that's going on with my life. Makita ko lang yung
Correct.
aso ko na marunong nang sumakay, marunong nang natatalian ko na siya, I'm very happy and ecstatic about it. Makakain lang ako ng fishball dyan sa kanto, I'm fine with it and I'm happy with it. Me being able to sleep 3 hours straight, I'm happy with it. And yeah, I remember what I failed at. I wish I could go back at certain things and take advantage of certain things. But if I change that, would I be where I am right now? Probably, but more comfortable siguro. But still, let's normalize emotions as emotions and not as a definition of a person. Um, Ang hirap kasi sa corporate world, shout out corporate world. Let's accept people for people, not because of what they say, what they have to say. Let's, as part of the leadership team, let's not feel that when our people are being vocal or being outspoken is a threat to our position. It's not. It's it's an opportunity for us leaders to continually grow and become better leaders for whoever it is that we're managing. So, yun yung sa akin. Let emotions be emotions.
Have you found those people already?
I did right now. Hindi na ko
Talaga?
nasabi.
Ito sa bagong
Sa
work mo
bago kong
ngayon?
company, I'm so happy to because I think I admittedly, one of my biggest Waterloo is that I always wanted to learn. And then when I learn something, I'm just contented I learned it. I'm not gonna master it. Sakit ko yon. Sobrang sakit ko yon. Um, and so right now, with my manager, I'm so excited with the fact na, alam mo yun, yung siya yung napapagod na turuan ako ng turuan. And so, in return, for me, absorb naman ako ng absorb. Kahit na ako, inaantok na. Kasi I'm in a graveyard shift. Tapos siya, buhay na buhay pa. Parang ako, inaantok na ako, boss. Parang gusto ko na matulog. Puro numero yung nakikita ko. Um, and she's just happy. And I feel it. I totally feel yung support niya na we're gonna make some changes with the current program. We can achieve things with the current program. With the leadership that we have, alam ko magiging mabagal, but the future is bright. Yung mga ganong eksena na parang it's not just words, pero it's an action na nakikita ko, nararamdaman ko. And andun yung interaction na nangyayari. That I wish something that I was able to find dun sa previous organization, except that it was tainted. The organization that we were with. Tapos, naglipat-lipat na ako ng company. Tapos, I thought prior to this, kala ko nandun na sa previous ko. But it wasn't. So, naging constant search for it. Kasi alam ko naman na workaholic ako. Well, not necessarily workaholic. Such a dedicated person. So, ma-reciprocate yun is such a big deal. And so, with what I have right now, kaya yun yung sinabi mo, hala, paano ka pa nakakatulog? Hindi ko rin alam, lunch break. Pag lunch, doon ako natutulog. Yung mga 1 hour na ninanakaw kong tulog. Yun. And I'm glad that I have it right now. And had I not failed from my previous interviews, baka wala ako dito sa sitwasyon ko ngayon. And I'm just thankful na, yay, eto na siya. Hopefully, this is the last stop for me. Kasi nakakapagod. I'm not aspiring, as bad as it may sound, I'm not aspiring for any position, but to this time be acknowledged, not just recognized, to be acknowledged as an integral part of that leadership team is such a big deal. Nire-respeto kasi kung ano yung mga nasasabi ko. I think I was able to tell this manager how the challenges that I'm encountering with one of my subordinates, and I was never judged. Hindi ako tinanong na hindi ako sinabihan na dapat magbago ako ng approach, but instead, ang sinabi niya, hay nako, ako nang bahala dyan. Yon. Sige, ako nang kakausap. Yung ganong eksena. And I felt like, at last, someone had said it. So, big deal. It's such a big deal. Sobrang na-appreciate ko yung situation. And I hope it stays that way.
And I'm so happy for you. Mamaya, after this, let me know kung anong company baka pwede mo kayo ipasok.
Ay, sure. Hoy, where ano ha? Di ba? Where I know we're hiring. I know we've been hiring people. So I don't mind. Sige, mamaya
Sige,
pag-usapan natin kung sino tong
push
mga
mamaya.
to.
Mamaya pag-usapan natin. So I'm happy naman that you found a company who embraces us and speaks our language. So right
Mm-mm.
now, do you still feel failure? a complete failure or impartial?
Do I still feel it? I have my moments. I I have my struggle. It's it's such a cliche that I'm able to battle other people's demons while I cannot silence my own. I still do. I I still find it, I would still, I would always go back to that certain part of my head. Um, and for some reason would stay there even though it hurts me. But then there's also a part of me that would struggle and would wanna keep pushing forward just so I can eventually slay whatever it is that that's crippling me. I take it one step at a time. Right now, yon internal monologue lang. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Um, mga instances na basta lang ako iiyak, kasi wala lang, gusto ko lang, para lang mailabas ko lang. Or kakanta ko, or basta sobrang tahimik lang ako. My emotions are so extremes at certain point. Um, Probably I might need psychological help, but I think this is enough. This conversation, more than anything else, is probably something that's helping me. For me to be able to say it, for me to be able to talk about it and not feel embarrassed, it's such a big deal. Sobrang big deal. Sabi ko nga, when I was preparing for today, mentally, I was like thinking, sige, this is gonna be self-serving because it's gonna be a therapy for me to to verbalize whatever it is that's been hiding in my head. Ah, sige, gawin natin to. Sabi ko, sa totoo lang, gusto ko mag-back out. Sobrang gusto ko mag-back out. So, so yung ganun. But then, okay, fine. We blocked the calendar. Sige, fine. I-push natin. But I really wanna back out on it. Kasi, wala lang. Parang naisip ko lang na, what do I really have to offer? Diba? Yun, bumabalik ako doon sa ganun eh. Nakakainis. Pero sige, if it's meant for people who's having the same struggle as I do, sige, papaalam ko na sa inyo, okay lang yan. Okay lang yan. Let it be a shout out to everybody else. So, it's just fine. You're fine. We'll be fine. And wala kang ibang gagawin kundi matulog at gumising sa susunod na araw. And if you want to stay in bed, not doing anything, then fine. Stay in bed. Just be there. And it's fine. It will always be fine.
And I'm sure the viewers would appreciate you sharing and being vulnerable to the situation. And of course, you can share this for someone new that you will encounter na if you want to know about me, eto, how to deal with me, eto yung video.
Yeah.
And
Oo.
oo, para wala nang usap, panoorin mo na lang yan kung ano talaga ako and then
Oo, kung paano ako mag-isip. Yan.
oo.
True.
Tapos, so you kind of in passing na mention mo na what are the things that you do to cope and manage? Actually, not just overcome it's manage because by the sound of it, you are processing your emotions and you're not just parang applying band-aid solution to it. You're processing,
Yeah.
you're crying it out, you're singing, you're playing with your fur babies, and it's therapeutic for you. And now you're doing this with me. I out of interest or curiosity, what thoughts or ideas trigger you to feel these emotions?
Oh, wait, sorry. The emotions of failing or the
Yes, na
emotions of
parang
overcoming it?
the feeling of failing. Ano nag-trigger sa'yo? Kasi nasa magandang posisyon
Oo,
ka na in life eh. So parang yung mga moments na parang na gusto mo lang umiyak, ano yung mga thoughts? I'm sure idle time mo yun, yung parang napaupo ka na lang.
oo.
Tapos biglang may papasok, ano yun?
Yan yung mga ito yung mga moment na because one of my brother doesn't have work right now. Well, an adopted brother. He's my cousin. So he doesn't have work right now. Andun yung thought na I could just be providing, but I'm not able to. Well, for other people, because he's such a good guy as well. Parang, oh, bakit siya? He's not making the cut of whatever is meant for him. So yung ganon, na ako bilang ate, oh, I could have done something. Or, because I really want a, napaka, truth is, I want to get out of the BPO industry. I really want to. I want to be able to practice whatever profession that I have because I know it's something that I'm good at, but I cannot get out of the BPO industry simply because sorry, it pays well. So, yun yung struggle na yun. Parang, I have to give up certain aspirations because I'm trying to survive. And at certain times, when I want to stop surviving, then the thoughts of failures would start happening. Nandiyan na yung, I could have done certain things, I could have been this, I could have been that, I should have done this, I should have said this, I could, not be more outspoken than what was expected, I could have played everybody's cards well. Yung ganon, bumabalik yun. When I think of the things that I wanted to become, bumabalik, andun yung, ay, sayang, oo nga. Kasi dapat nagawa ko to. Ay, sayang, sana ganito. Yun, nagiging ganon. Nagiging struggle. And so, when that happens, ay, patugtog na tayo. Kakanta na lang ako. Or, I used to write, but, I don't know, for some reason, I can't anymore. It gets jumbled so much. So, I would just sing it out. Kahit hindi magandang boss ko, wala akong pakialam. So, I would just sing it out. I would bury myself. Kasi hindi talaga maganda boses ko, my God. So, I would bury myself in work. Basta na lang, okay, sige, let's finish whatever it is that I need to finish, do more of whatever it is that's expected. I would start cleaning, mga ganyang eksena. Just so I can get out of it. At worst, basta na lang ako naiiyak. And, mag-shutdown na lang ako. As in, literally, I would just shut down. My go-to was to play games on my phone. Maglaro lang ako. Just so I'm not thinking. And these are games that's not even as complicated yung mga Mobile Legends na yan. Hindi ko kaya yan. Yung mga pambatang games na you don't need to think of what you're going to do. You just play it. Yung mga ganun, yung mga mundane things, just so the wheels stop turning kasi masyado nang mabilis.
And obviously, it's a cumulative experience from the very
Mhm.
beginning, and then from last year's experience from the back-to-back interviews that you had. Does the intensity of this feeling of being down gets better over time? Or kung ano yung intensity na nararamdaman mo before, same pa din sa nararamdaman mo ngayon?
Actually, it seems like it's even worse this time. Although it's in passing na lang, pero mas intense siya kasi. Before, mas mahaba siya, pero very light. Like, it's super, super light lang. Na tipong, okay, something that you can shrug off. But, it's a lot longer. Right now, it's a fleeting moment, but it's so intense na literally, sumasakit yung tiyan ko. And then I would just, okay, wala na. Tapos matatahimik na lang ako. Thank God for 2-floor na bahay kasi at least I can, get holed up in my room. Yung mga ganyang eksena na mananahimik lang ako and then I get to look out the window. Yun, yung mga ganon. It's a fleeting moment but it's so intense to a point that masakit ang tiyan. basta ka na lang maiiyak, tapos magnanam, yung ganon. But it's far in between. I get to record it. I would take note. Right now, I'm pathing kung tuwing kailan nangyayari. And then, baka mamay, so just so I can control it, in a sense. Typically, it would happen at the start of every month. For some reason, at the start of every month. So, pag alam ko na magsisimula ng magtapos yung buwan, nag-indulge na ako sa mga happy stuff. Walang katapusang panonood ng mga dog and cat memes, yung mga ganyan. Tapos, yung mga series na masasaya na napanood ko na before, tapos inuulit-ulit ko, just so I have a pack of things that would make me laugh. And so, when it strikes, I can sort of control it, and it doesn't linger as often as it should.
And that's good to hear. And don't you think it's because before, when it's fresh, hindi mo pa siya napaprocess, and then now, you have come up with various scenarios of what could have been. So parang, kasi hindi mo na kasi masyadong iniisip eh. Alam mo na yung, nakita mo na yung nangyari sa'yo. So ito na yung mga dapat ginawa mo. So parang sharp pain na lang na mabibilis.
Yes.
Hindi ka tulad dati na parang, hindi mo pa kasi alam eh, into the unknown ka pa nun eh.
Oo.
So hindi pa siya masyadong ganun kasa.
Tsaka I keep denying myself. Literally, I was denying myself that it's happening. So, kaya yun yung shoutout eh, for anyone na parang, dulo mo i-deny kasi tumatagal lalo. As in, literal na tumatagal lalo. Right now, parang, nangyari. Hindi tapos. Ganun eh. Yun, yung parang, and seriously, my dad complains about my driving. It's because of it. Alam mo yung pag napo-frustrate ako, pag nagda-drive, one of my dad's comments was, bakit lagi siyang galit pag nagda-drive? And my mom would say, binubuksan niya ba yung bintana pag nagagalit siya? Sabi niya, hindi. O pabayaan mo siyang magsalita. Because I would do that. For some reason, parang bigla na lang akong puputok na, ano ba yan? Bakit hindi kasi ganyan eh? Hindi ka maayos. I would nag. Eh, ako lang naman yung nagdadrive. Wala naman ako. I think those are the stuff, you know, the little things that hurts me. And I wish it's something that I could avoid. Pero it's, yun yung mga ganun ng eksena ko. I am aware of it, pero hinahayaan kong, eto yung mga sandali ko. And I acknowledge that it's happening. Before kasi, I run away from it. I run away from the thought na pwede palang malungkot si Una. Na pwede palang masaktan si Una. Before kasi I see myself as someone na, hindi, okay lang yan. It's totally different from being fine. Parang sa akin, kaya kong lagpasan yan. Ngayon, hindi ko malagpasan. Bakla siya. Kung hindi ko malagpasan, dead ma. Ngayon, may ganun na ako. So, probably, kaya pag umatake siya, atake talaga na masakit, sobrang sakit, and then titigil na. Not like before na, lingering talaga, as in lingering. Ang dami kong kinukustyon, ang dami kong sinisisi, ang dami kong gustong palagalitan, ang dami kong gustong awayan because of it. Tapos ngayon, parang, hindi, it's fine. It's just me. It's just me, my head, and probably, if I may say so, my faith. Tapos, yun na. Then I just, I surrender because I'm just tired. And next thing you know, okay, here we go again. Let's go do it and let's fight another day. Mga ganun ang eksena ko.
Okay. Unfortunately, Una, we're out of time. But I'm pretty sure that our viewers who can relate to your situation can get something out of your experience and how to deal with their own inner demons. And any parting words or any, aside from what you've mentioned, anything else that you think that could help them further?
Anything key takeaway from it? Go find your circle. Go find your circle that would not question you for being you. Go find that circle, that inner circle that would just embrace who you are and would tame your own demons if you can't do so. There's someone out there. And if it's not, if whatever it is that you're in is not doing that, that's not the one that's meant for you. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be sometimes impossible to find, but it's out there and you have to find it. You have to be able to find that circle that just envelopes you and secures you. And once you do, I hope that the pain would eventually be gone and you become another person's circle and that they find the strength because they see you. And yun, do it because, somebody else sees you. And as cliche as it may sound, somebody is probably looking at you and is happy and is just amazed that you're able to manage everything that's been going on. And someone's looking at you and seeing you. So you're fine. Yeah, this too definitely shall pass. And I don't mean it for any cliche. I meant it. I meant it for myself, and I meant it for anyone who needs to hear it.
And thank you so much, Una, for sharing that. I'm pretty sure some of them would really need to hear that. Some of them probably already knows that, but they just need to hear it from someone else who's going through the same thing. So thank you so much. Again, um, I really appreciate you taking the time to share your feelings and also what you've gone through. It's not easy, I know, but I'm just really happy right now that you've found the things that could help you feel better, and you're now in a better position. Thank you again, Una.
You just watched an episode of Chef Circle. Share this episode to anyone you think would benefit from what we've covered today. Thanks for watching.